EVSR and Entropy Racing, and we are working on our endurance motor. These are great motors supplied by HPEVS, and we've been using the same basic motor for 10 years, but we found last year we had some thermal problems, and we've made some modifications to the motors. If you look here, you'll see the openings for the exhaust of the air. And we've opened that machining up significantly to make the ports a lot larger. The other end of the motor has a casting, and these ports are enlarged by probably about 40%, allowing for greater airflow. In addition, on our rotors, this bearing, because of our water injection system, suffers premature failures on a regular basis as a result of the basically steaming the grease out of the motors. So we've gotten another SKF supplied bearing which has greater seals in it to allow for less intrusion, hopefully. And overall, we found this to be really successful. Our thermal issues are completely gone. We're really looking forward to not having to chase that all race. And Ed and I are going to be assembling this motor. This is our spare. We already have one in the car that's proven effective, and this will be the motor we might start the race on this motor and keep the one that we've tested already as a spare. These are fresher pieces, but overall, you know, it's great stuff, and we're just making it a little better. Situated first. Okay. Stays there. That's all we do. Okay. And let's align this a little bit better. That looks close enough. Every time I assemble a motor, I always feel like I'm doing one of these, you know, action movies where they have the glass cylinder full of the detonating device.
Nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
Going smooth.
Yep. Slow down a little bit. Oh. Yep. So, in our early development of the motor and our cooling system, we determined that air cooling alone was not sufficient to keep this motor cool over the course of a 20 to 30 minute session. So we developed a system by which we inject a fine mist of water, and we used to inject it from this end of the motor and only this end, but there's two motors inside the case, and what would happen is that this would steam and dissipate a lot of the heat, but when it got to the second motor, it would stop cooling because the water had already gone and the evaporative cooling had disappeared. So in addition to opening up the ports on here for better air cooling and better flow, we also drilled a center port right over here and put a second injection nozzle. So that goes in here, sits on an O-ring, and then lays in like that. And the nice part about this is it's more efficient cooling to the rear motor, but just as importantly, because it's efficiently cooling the rear motor and the front motor at the same time with two separate nozzles, we're able to decrease the nozzle size, decrease the water flow, and thereby make it easier to service and pit stops because we don't have to put as much water in. And more importantly, we were losing rear bearings as a result of putting too much water and steam through it. So now we're running about half the volume of water with much more effective cooling. So overall, this is almost as far as we could go with this motor. It's a great motor. It's been really reliable for us, and while there are more advanced and efficient motors and liquid cooled motors, this is about a quarter of the price of anything that we could get the same performance out of. So these modifications all in have given us a completely viable, sustainable motor that we can run continuously for 25 hours. And we will be proving that in December. Bye-bye.